Welcome back to Ambience by Design. Today, I will share 10 design choices that make your home look more luxurious. In my years working behind the scenes in high end real estate and interior design, I've learned a surprising truth: price tags don't equal luxury. In fact, some of the most expensive homes I've ever toured felt completely cold and disconnected, not because of what they bought, but because of how everything was put together. And the worst part? Most of them are completely fixable. So today, I'm walking you through 10 design choices that make your home look more luxurious. Let's start with one of the most common mistakes I see. Number one, how the wrong furniture size disrupts a beautiful room. So let me show you exactly what I mean, because this is one of those situations where the before completely changes how you experience the space, and the after shows you just how powerful the right decisions can be. This is a true story from one of my listing appointments. When I arrived, the seller told me the home had already been listed for a year and didn't sell. That immediately caught my attention, but I've done this long enough to know there's always a reason. And most of the time, it reveals itself the moment you walk through the space. So I began the tour moving from room to room, and then I walked into the master bedroom. And that's when it became clear the issue wasn't the size of the room, it was how the room was presented, and it perfectly illustrates how presentation can make or break a sale. Instead of seeing a calm, inviting master bedroom suite, I was looking at two inflated mattresses placed side by side sitting on the floor, and instantly I knew this would stop buyers in their tracks. Naturally, I asked the homeowner about it. They explained that their doctor had recommended this setup to help alleviate their back pain, which of course makes sense from a personal comfort standpoint. However, from a real estate and design perspective, this creates an immediate disconnect for potential buyers. When buyers walk into a master bedroom, they're not just evaluating the space, they're emotionally placing themselves into it. And when the focal point of the room feels temporary, unconventional, or unexpected, it disrupts that experience. Instead of envisioning a calm, inviting retreat, they're left confused or distracted. And here's the reality: confusion doesn't sell homes. I explained to the seller that while the setup worked for their personal needs, it would likely turn buyers away. The solution was simple and highly effective. We replaced the air mattresses with a properly scaled king-size bed and staged the room to reflect how the space is meant to live. Because this was a generously sized room, it easily supported a larger bed, which instantly elevated the perception of the entire space. Instead of questioning the room, buyers could now connect with it. They could see it as their future master suite, a place that feels comfortable, cohesive, and complete. The transformation was immediate, and the home sold right away. And that's the goal with every listing: to remove distractions and create a space buyers can emotionally step into. This one design mistake could cost you thousands when selling your home, and most people don't even realize they're doing it. But here's where this gets even more important: it's not just unconventional choices, like two air mattresses, that can create that reaction. I see this happen all the time with furniture. Sometimes everything is too small for the room, and sometimes it goes completely the other direction: overscaled, overfilled, overpowering. Let me show you what that looks like. Number two, overscaled for the space. Because in this next space, the issue isn't that the furniture is missing, it's that everything is too big. An oversized sectional, a heavy, oversized coffee table, pieces that individually might be beautiful, but together completely overwhelm the room. And just like the bedroom, the moment scale is off, the entire space feels off. Now let's take a look at this living room. At first glance, everything in here might seem substantial, even elevated. The sectional's large, the coffee table is oversized, and the pieces themselves are actually beautiful. But the moment you step back and look at the room as a whole, something feels off. And this is where scale becomes everything. The sectional is too deep and too long for the footprint of the space. The coffee table is too heavy and oversized in relation to the seating. So instead of creating balance, everything starts competing. There's no visual breathing room, no clear pathways, no sense of proportion, And what ends up happening is the room feels smaller, heavier, and unintentionally less refined. This is one of the biggest mistakes I see. People assume that larger furniture will make a space feel more luxurious. But in reality, when scale isn't considered, it does the opposite. It overwhelms the room. Great design isn't about the size of your furniture, it's about the relationship between each piece. Scale, proportion, spacing, that's what creates a room that feels intentional, elevated, and effortless. Now let's look at what happens when we correct that. We scaled the sectional appropriately for the room, introduced a more balanced coffee table, and allowed for proper spacing between each piece. Suddenly, the room feels lighter, more open, more functional, and most importantly, it feels designed. Same room, same layout. But now, everything is working together instead of competing for attention. And this is exactly why understanding scale and proportion is so important, because most people aren't making bad design choices. They're just missing the guidelines that designers use every day. That's why I created my 2026 Scale and Proportion Cheat Sheet. It's a simple, easy to follow guide that shows you the correct sizing for coffee tables, sofas, and rugs, proper spacing between furniture, and how to instantly tell if something is too big or too small for your space. So you can walk into any room and know exactly what feels right. You can download it through the link below. Because once you understand proportion, everything changes. Number 3, layered interiors feel more luxurious than matching sets. Bigger furniture isn't better, it's just overwhelming. Oversized sectionals, bulky coffee tables, and heavy chairs can make a room feel cramped instead of elevated. Scale creates balance. When everything is large, nothing feels intentional. Luxury comes from balance, not bulk. You want the room to breathe. When everything matches, nothing stands out. Collected, layered spaces always feel more elevated. Now, this next one is subtle, but incredibly impactful. Number 4, the secret to a warm, expensive looking room? Layered lighting. Lighting is one of the biggest differences between a home that feels flat and one that feels warm, elevated, and expensive. And the secret is layering. Most people rely on a single overhead light, which tends to make a room feel harsh, cold, and one-dimensional. Designer spaces feel different because they combine multiple light sources at different heights throughout the room. That usually means a mix of ambient lighting, like ceiling fixtures, task lighting such as table or floor lamps, and accent lighting to highlight artwork, shelving, or architectural details. The layering creates depth, softness, and atmosphere. You'll also notice that luxury interiors rarely feel overly bright. Instead, the lighting feels intentional and balanced, warm pools of light that make the room feel inviting and comfortable. Even adding just a pair of lamps, dimmers, or subtle accent lighting can completely transform how a space feels at night. Because beautiful design isn't only about what the room looks like during the day, it's also about how it feels when the lighting changes. Number 5, luxury rooms start with the right rug scale. One of the fastest ways to make a room feel unfinished or less luxurious is using a rug that's too small for the space. A properly sized rug should anchor the furniture and visually connect the entire seating area together. When the rug is too small, everything starts to feel disconnected, almost like the furniture is floating around the room instead of working as one cohesive design. In most luxury interiors, the rug is intentionally scaled larger, so at least the front legs of the furniture sit comfortably on it. That larger scale immediately makes the room feel more grounded, balanced, and thoughtfully designed. Small rugs also tend to visually shrink a room. But when the scale is right, the entire space instantly feels larger, calmer, and more elevated. And this is one of those design details people may not consciously notice, but they absolutely feel it. The correct rug size creates a sense of proportion and polish that quietly makes the entire room look more expensive. Number 6, artwork should connect to the furniture, not float above it. One of the most common design mistakes is hanging artwork too high above the furniture. When that happens, the artwork feels disconnected from the room, almost like it's floating on the wall instead of being part of the overall design. Artwork should visually relate to the furniture beneath it. Whether it's above a sofa, console, bed, or dining buffet, the piece should feel anchored to that area and help create one cohesive composition. In designer spaces, Artwork is typically hung lower than most people expect because it creates a stronger visual connection and makes the room feel more balanced and intentional. When art sits too high, it can make ceilings feel awkwardly tall and the furniture feel smaller or disconnected. Scale matters here too. The artwork should feel proportionate to the furniture underneath it, not too tiny and not floating several feet above it. This is one of those subtle details that instantly changes how polished a room feels. Properly placed artwork creates harmony, while poorly placed artwork quietly throws the entire space off balance. Number 7. Too many tiny decor pieces create visual clutter. One of the quickest ways to make a room feel cluttered instead of luxurious is filling it with too many small decor pieces. When every surface is covered with tiny objects, the eye has nowhere to rest. Instead of the room feeling calm and curated, it starts to feel visually busy and overwhelming, even if every individual item is beautiful on its own. Luxury interiors tend to use fewer, more intentional pieces with stronger scale and presence. A larger vase, oversized bowl, stacked books, sculptural object, or substantial floral arrangement usually creates far more impact than dozens of small accessories scattered throughout the room. Designer spaces also understand the importance of negative space. Leaving some areas open actually makes the room feel more elevated because it allows the key pieces to stand out. And this doesn't mean your home should feel empty or cold. It simply means editing with intention. The goal is to create moments of interest without creating visual noise. Often, removing a few small accessories can instantly make a room feel calmer, more refined, and significantly more expensive. Now, this next one is why some rooms feel flat, even when everything is expensive. Number 8, why rooms without contrast feels flat. A room without contrast often feels flat because everything visually blends together. Even when the furniture and finishes are beautiful, the space can start to feel one dimensional if there's no variation in tone, texture, depth, or shape. Contrast is what gives a room energy and visual interest. It creates balance between light and dark, soft and structured, smooth and textured. That contrast is what helps a space feel layered, collected, and intentionally designed. For example, a light neutral room may need darker accents, natural wood tones, black metal finishes, or textured fabrics to create depth. Even subtle contrast, like linen against stone, matte finishes against polished surfaces, or curvy interiors rarely rely on one single tone throughout the entire space. Instead, they use contrast thoughtfully to create dimension and warmth without feeling overwhelming. And the beautiful thing is, contrast doesn't have to be dramatic. Sometimes just adding deeper pillows, darker lighting, richer wood tones, or varied textures is enough to make the entire room feel more elevated and alive. Number 9, luxury is often found in the details. Luxury isn't always about buying the most expensive furniture or completely renovating a space. More often, it's found in the smaller details that make a home feel thoughtful, refined, and well designed. Things like quality hardware, elevated finishes, proper proportions, tailored lighting, beautiful textures, and intentional styling all work together to create that polished feeling people associate with high-end interiors. And interestingly, it's often the inexpensive or overlooked details that quietly bring a room down. Builder-grade hardware, poor lighting, cheap-looking finishes, or pieces that don't feel cohesive with the rest of the space. Designer homes tend to feel more luxurious because attention has been given to how everything connects and functions together. Even simple upgrades like changing cabinet hardware, adding dimmers, upgrading lighting, or incorporating richer textures can dramatically elevate the overall look of a room. True luxury is rarely loud or overly perfect. It's usually subtle, layered, and intentional, and that's what gives a home warmth, character, and a sense of timeless sophistication. Number 10. Why furniture layout can make or break a room. Furniture layout is one of the most important parts of a well-designed room because even beautiful furniture can feel awkward if the arrangement isn't working. A poor layout can make a space feel cramped, disconnected, or uncomfortable to walk through. And one of the most common mistakes is pushing all the furniture against the walls, which often creates a room that feels flat and lacking conversation or connection. Luxury interiors are designed around flow, balance, and function. The furniture should create natural pathways, comfortable conversation areas, and a sense of visual harmony throughout the space. Good layout also helps the room feel properly scaled. When furniture is positioned thoughtfully, the room feels larger, calmer, and more intentional. Even small adjustments, like floating furniture slightly away from the wall, repositioning chairs, or creating better spacing between pieces, can completely transform how the room feels. And this is something people often overlook because they focus so much on buying the right furniture. But designers know that how the furniture is arranged is just as important as the furniture itself. A beautiful room isn't only about individual pieces, it's about how everything works together. Most beautiful homes feel personal, not trend driven. The most beautiful homes are rarely the ones that follow every trend perfectly. They're the homes that feel layered, thoughtful, and personal to the people living in them. True luxury isn't about copying what's popular, it's about creating a space that feels timeless, comfortable, and uniquely yours. When you focus on balance, scale, warmth, texture, and pieces you genuinely love, your home naturally begins to feel more elevated and refined. Trends will always change, but a well designed home with personality and intention never goes out of style. And that's really the difference between a home that simply looks decorated and one that truly feels beautifully designed. And if you'd like to take your home to the next level, I created 2 design guides to help you do exactly that: the Scale and Proportion Cheat Sheet and the Collected Modern Master Palette. These are designed to help you create rooms that feel more balanced, elevated, warm, and professionally styled without feeling overwhelming. I'll have both linked for you below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope this gave you a few designer insights you can start using in your own home right away. And remember, creating a beautiful home isn't about perfection or following every trend. It's about creating a space that feels thoughtful, personal, and truly reflects you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.